And then what I'll do is, okay, so just to start off, kind of like some of the admin stuff. So I created an admin chat. That's where we'll just have behind the scenes conversations as to what we need as things are progressing through this. Oh, Amanda's in the waiting room. I don't see her. Well, somebody look in that admin chat. I sent the Zoom link, so I wouldn't think that she went to, oh, there she is. It was just slow. It didn't pop up and show me. Okay, so we're good. So we have an admin chat where we'll do like behind the scenes if we need any planning, scheduling, like any of that stuff. And then we have the participant chat. And so, I mean, we all know, what should be in each of those. The participant chat is, to remind them of like the Zoom or for them to ask questions. I would really love it to where once we start the process, there's a lot of like communication and shouting people out with like the homework that's assigned where they're actually taking action steps. Because we're not going to create a group off of it, but this is more going to be like the accountability where people can communicate. So what I'm going to do is let me pull up my boards and I'll kind of show you what we have set. And then I'll give you a rundown of how we're going to kind of do this on Mondays. So I need to share my screen. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have the first link, which is really just the enrollment. This is what we're sending to people. It does have the updated times. We switched. Oh, I need to update this still. I don't know why it didn't take it. I'll fix this, but we're actually doing it at 6:30 and 8:30 because I was reminded that's when the corporate call was. Corporate call shouldn't go any later than 30 minutes. They usually don't. But I didn't want to go any later because 9 p.m. is really hard for East Coast. And I didn't want to do 5 Mountain because that's super hard for West Coasters because people are still, at work or barely getting off work. So I'll go in. This is just where people are going to enroll for it. I'll get this updated so that they know. Once they hit submit, it will take them into our chat, into the chat for the participants. When it takes them into the chat for the participants, I have this pinned. This is their page. They don't have to have paid boards because this is just considered a page. And so this is where it's going to keep track of everything for them. So they'll come in. It gives them, the login, which Denise was able to get for us. Gosh, I think that was at the beginning of when we started Make. But it will give them the option. They can log into their course here. They can print their workbook. So it opened, it will bring it up. This is their workbook that we're going to have them follow along with. And then obviously their tracker, it's going to have them pull up their Project 100 tracker. And I'll talk about how this is going to be the main thing that we're focusing on. So as like I was telling you guys, we want to have a very singular focus. And anytime we add like and or plus, what happens is now they have multiple paths that they can take. And most of them are going to take the path of least resistance. So the total recruiting blueprint is, yes, we're still going to have people talking with customers, but we're not going to discuss any of that when we're going through this workshop. This is all about growing our team. And so that's why we're going to be, going through what Justin's created, learning the language and the posture to where it feels natural and it feels authentic and it becomes a system that we can duplicate when we're recruiting. And so that's why as we go through this, they'll get all the other outside information if we're doing challenges for customers and make goals or any of that stuff, but we won't discuss it on our Monday nights. This is all going to be about learning what Justin's teaching us and actually putting it into action. Because a lot of times people will do these, but they don't actually put it into action. And so we'll join every Monday. We're going to do 2 different times to try to help people that don't want to join in the evening or those that are not free during the day. So this one I did have updated. I'll go update the other one as well. And so I know Denise is going to jump on and help with hosting them. They're going to be very easy the way we do them. So if anybody else wants to help us host them, just let us know. And this is just a prep exercise that I put in here. You guys can read it and see if you want to change it or if you think it works well. It really just helps them hone in on figuring out, like a lot of times we have so many goals in life and we feel like we have to only go after one goal. And some people get, they'll go for the smaller goal. They won't go for the bigger one. But So this is an exercise I've done many times where they write down their 10 goals in life and then they highlight what the top 3 are. And then they take a deeper look. What are those top 3 goals? And if they achieve just one of those top 3 goals, which one is going to have the ripple effect to have all those other goals come into place? And like for me, I know one of the biggest things has been recruiting and prospecting. If my sole focus is on recruiting and prospecting, all of my other goals are going to fall into place, right? I'm going to be able to grow my team. I'm going to be able to help my team win. And even when I'm growing and I'm prospecting for the team for affiliates, that's still going to grow my customer side. And I look at it like in sales, like when you go to buy a car, and if you're there to buy a Honda and they're trying to sell you a Porsche, you're not going to upgrade. You're going to walk right out, right? But if you're there to buy a Porsche and they're like, hey, well, we can get you this other luxury car. It's not as much as a Porsche. You take that more as a service and a good deed that they did for you. So that's the way I look at recruiting. Like if I'm talking to somebody about the business, and I always frame it as like wellness and wealth. If they're like, I don't want anything to do with the business, it's so much easier. Like, that's fine. Let's get you started as a customer. So this is just to really help them kind of see how if they put recruiting at the forefront, it's going to help them achieve a lot of the other goals within Make Wellness. And it just talks about, non-negotiables. It's really just a mindset thing. So I'll let you guys read this off of Zoom. And if you think that it's too much to start with, I just want them to have some type of prep work before they come on Monday. When we meet Monday, we're going to it's going to be like an introduction. So we're going to explain to them what we're doing, which means like the first week, let me log in and show you guys. So when we meet Monday, we're going to explain to them the flow of how this is going to work. And then they're going to get their first piece of homework. Their first piece of homework, I'm breaking it up into each week. We're going to have segments that we're going to be watching, and then they have to do the workbook with it. So the first week is going to be this whole introduction. It's about like an hour and 5 minutes, I think is what I totaled it up to be, which is less than 10 minutes a day, which is very easy for somebody to get in and read 10 minutes, take their notes and be done, right? That's part of their personal development. And in our boards, I will add each week. So after we join on Monday, so all they're going to see is this. I'm not going to give them all weeks in advance because they're going to try to go through and look at it. And we just want to kind of hand feed this to them so they don't get so far ahead that they don't put into action what they learned within this first week. So when we meet next Monday, what will happen is week 1 is going to pop up on the top. And then when we do week 2 is going to pop up, and it's essentially going to break it down and say, you're going to watch module number 1. And I'll put all of these like kind of bulleted, like to show exactly which videos they should be watching. And the goal of this is for them to watch this and learn from it. We're going to teach them about if you ink it, you think it, right? So we want them to take notes in their workbook. And then we want them to utilize what they've learned and put it into action. Now, we know sometimes people won't. Stacy is messing with me, or not messing with me. She's messaging me. I think the Zoom is messing up with her. I can't see that she's in. I've lost my attendee list. I can't see it. I should have made somebody a Zoom, an admin. Let me see. Is she still on here?
Stacy's not on this call.
Okay, I think I have to. Let me do this. Hang on. Participants. She's not trying to be. Amanda, I'm going to make you admin because you're at the top of the screen, or a host. Oh, how do I do co-host so it doesn't kick me off from screen sharing? I'm going to make you host so that you can add people in if you would watch. Is my screen still sharing, or do I need to go share it again?
You have to share it again.
All right. I just sent that request to you, Amanda.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Because I can't see, it doesn't bring up any of the people trying to join when I'm on this. Oh, I lost my train of thought. So anyways, the goal is, we want them to put this into action, not just when we meet on Mondays. So the goal is we want them to stay focused on, they're going to do their training and they need to do their invites. when they do their invites, we're going to keep it very simple. They have this that they're going to track. I'm going to encourage them to track. This just tracks if they become a customer or a distributor. I want them to track a little bit more where how many did they invite for week 1? So they could just put, week 1 or whatever, however they want to track that. Did the person join one of the calls and did they sign up? Because not everybody's going to become a customer or distributor, but let's say that they're sending invites out and nobody's responding. Well, we got to start back at the very beginning. So you sent 10 invites and not one person said yes, or I'm busy. What are you sending? We have to fix that language or else you're never going to get to the end step. So we want, and we'll go through that and say, track if they reached back and then tracked if they joined. Because if you're inviting people and you're not making sure that they're jumping on, how do you know to follow up with them? And then we'll tell them, track who you followed up with and what was their answer. This is going to help them so they can kind of find where their disconnect be. Maybe they're having a ton of people get on, but nobody's becoming a customer or distributor. Is that because they're lacking in the follow-up, or we need to help them with that? And I think as we fine tune this, they're going to learn how to do this on their own. They're going to be able to teach their people how to do this as well. And then, so they'll do week 1, watching, writing notes, putting in invites into action. I did comment in the chat that we have calls every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Lindsay Isham, Laura Jacerta, and then there's one other team. I don't know who it is that hosts Thursdays, but they pretty much just have different leaders that host these every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same time, same link. And the beginning of it is if they have any new, they kind of create these like a virtual launch. If they have any new affiliates that have joined, they actually highlight them on the beginning. And so what happens, like Heather, if you had just joined, my goal is I'm going to do the 30-minute launch with you. We're going to do a working 30 and you're going to invite. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to invite to Tuesday night, right? Hey, I've just started this not virtual business, but whatever script we would create for you. You would tell them, I'm hosting a virtual launch. I would love you to get on. So now Heather's going to hold herself more accountable because she's going to be she's going to be highlighted. So she's going to be inviting all these people. So that's how they launch them, right? So that's kind of how we're going to step in, although none of us are really launching. But if we want to be highlighted, if we want to relaunch, we can. If we have any testimonies, because what they do then is they share testimonies. So they share how the products are helping people. So if we have customers, if we have any testimonies, they're giving me access to the Wednesday Canva where I could pop in some stories. We can add that in there as well, but they're only 20 minutes. So they have I haven't looked at it yet, but they have the slides already created to where they keep it at 20 minutes to highlight the affiliate that, just started, share the testimony, share a little bit about the business. And both Lindsay and Laura have said that these have been very effective with constantly being able to bring in new people on the team. And Laura was saying that a lot of times they're getting people to premiere within 2 weeks by doing this, because that's all they do is consistently invite to these calls. So we can tap into those and use those without having to reinvent. So I know Stacy and I were that's where we were trying to adopt what they were doing, but we didn't have enough people we barely had enough to even do one a week. As long as I was able, or Stacy or Denise was able to show up every single week, but we know life is crazy. So instead of trying to reinvent it, we're going to tap in. But Laura did say that on Wednesdays, if we wanted to host them, we can go in and pick which Wednesdays we want. So if you want your face on and you to be hosting so that when people are coming, just let me know. I'll find out how she does like the signups. I don't know if she has a spreadsheet or whatever, but we can get our faces on those. Yes, Denise.
Okay, quick clarification for me and Heather. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Essentially, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is a product and business overview. And the new person, we tell them if we have a new person that signed up, that new person promotes the call and they get a shout out. It's like their launch party.
Yep.
Right. So it'd be like, oh my gosh, Heather just joined us and we're so grateful. Her friends and family came to learn more about what she's doing. Here's the product. Here's the business. You choose what you want to do, 1, 2, or 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. So we'll be able to use those. And again, what's nice is we're not going to have to be available every single week to be the ones on screen hosting it, because there's so many that have come together doing this.
And what time are these on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? You said it's the same time, same link.
It is. I need to get it from them. I joined one to see what it was like a while ago, and I think it's at like 6:30, but I need to verify. So I'll find
Okay.
out so that we have that. So when we meet on Monday, what I'm going to do is I actually have a training that I did a long time ago that I'm actually starting to go through again. I'm not going to go through all of it because I mean, this is like a 6-month commitment thing that I did. This was with Bob Proctor. It's called Thinking into Results. So at the beginning of every Monday call, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, maybe 10 max, just talking about thinking into results, just some things to help them get out of their own way, get out of their mind, like more of the mindset type of coaching. If anybody has something that they want to do on the calls, whether it's the afternoon or the evening, that starts off, because I always want to start us off with some type of like inspiration. And not anything to teach strategy, right? Just inspiration, like things that you might think that they're struggling with, like, getting over their fear or anything like that. And then we're going to open it up. It's just going to be open forum after that, where what did you learn this week? Does anybody want to share what you've learned? Was there something that you had to struggle with? Do you need help overcoming something? Because I don't want them to come and be talked at and have another training telling them what to do. This is their time. I want them to come and be able to communicate what they're needing help with so that we, like Heather, if you have people get on and you hear them talking about this, be taking notes, because we may not be able to address everybody's stuff right then, but that gives you stuff that you can coach them on and work with them on one-on-one. And so we'll spend 30 minutes doing that, just seeing how we can help them, what they've learned from this last week. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up the Zoom to where it's a breakout room. And depending how many people are on, if we have 5 people, maybe we put, or if we have 20 people on, maybe we put 4 people in a room or 3 people in a room. Because what I want to do is, like I said in the beginning, my hope is they're going to do their own, working 30 where they're sending out invites on their own. Sometimes people need to be held accountable. So we're going to do that on the last half of our Monday workshop, where we're going to break out and it's going to randomize. So nobody gets to pick who they're with, which I think is good because it's going to connect a lot of our team with other sideline sisters, but they're going to be able to learn something different every week from somebody, right? Because in that working 30, the goal is now, whatever you've learned, let's start sending invites out to the calls that we have going this week. And that will be where whoever's in that room, they'll be like, hey, can somebody help me? This is what I wanted to send. This person's a big influencer. They can kind of collaborate in that chat. But the goal is for them to get a couple of invites out during that last 30 minutes. And then we encourage them to continue to do this each day of the week, or how often they can give their business. So that's really the full concept. Go ahead, Denise.
First of all, you're amazing. Thank you for I don't know. I don't know if it's just inspiration or what it was, but I was like thinking about the same thing and couldn't find the energy to even start. So thank you for not only doing this, but then just spearheading it and going. It's like, yes, girl, thank you. Okay.
I was originally going to do it for me. I was going to go through the recruiting blueprint myself. And then I was like, oh, well, what if I do it for the team? And then it's just like all these light bulbs. So it's like everything's still kind of coming together.
Well, you're doing amazing. I appreciate it. Now, I know you said that the first 30 minutes, it's not really about strategy, but getting them talking. And I love that. But I do think the only thing that maybe the blueprint recruiting doesn't give us is really that when we do that working session of I left it in the chat the other day, what I'm doing, I went and got my chat GPT. We could have them program their chat GPT with the blueprint like I did, and then tell them how to go and do it. Just a little bitty that would take less than 5 minutes to explain. Just tiny little things of go look at the people that are following you, or go look at your friend's Facebook, comment on 3, like 3 things, and then ask the question so that they can relate to them. And they can just ask ChatGPT to write it for them.
So Mondays, it's just really prep where we're going to, it only take us 15 minutes to explain. You're going to have homework. You're going to watch it. You're going to take notes. You're going to invite. You're going to report as accountability the next Monday. So on the 24th, it would be really good if you wanted to do it, Denise. We can prime them on we want you guys to make sure that your chat GPT is set up, and we're going to need to share our screen to show them how to upload it to chat GPT, because people may not even know how to do that. And if you maybe want to give some prompts that are general prompts that we can provide to them, and tell them you're going to put this in with the PDF, and you're going to start using this main chat so that as you're sending scripts, it's going to formulate them with your language. And then that way they'll have it primed. And we can even tell them while we're on the call, because we have a full hour slated, we can even tell everybody if they're in a spot, open up their chat GPT and follow along, uploading the PDF and putting these prompts in so that you can start using this as we're learning how to, write, how to ask people, write this. I hate to call them scripts, because I mean, you want to personalize all of them, but how to send the invite out, customize or personalize for each person. So I think that would be good for Mondays. And
I'm happy to. I know that for sure I can be on too. I don't know that I can be on every Monday night as well.
And that's fine. My plan is to be on both of them every Monday. Like, I'm just going to commit, because obviously I'm going to be learning as well. So that's kind of my commitment. But if there's a major catastrophe, like, I will reach out and see, and if anybody wants to host these, it doesn't have to be me doing them, right? So if you want to show up and kind of be that face, like that leader for your team, and this is why I created this, is Jen had made a comment. So, because I've been working with her on the 4K boot camp, and we were kind of brainstorming. I was like, we have this path to Premiere Chat, and we know the system to get them to Premiere. And then now we have this 4K boot camp. It's ending, right? And they're going to start another one in February. I was like, but there's a gap. There's nothing on how do we get them to 4K so we can get them in the 4K boot camp. And she had made a comment, and she goes, there's a disconnect, and we need to discover out what that gap is. That if somebody can get their person to Premiere, but not get them to 4K, maybe it's that they're not leading the team fully, right? Like, so anyways, we had this discussion, and what it was is, I didn't want to rely on other teams to create these programs to be able to lead my team. So that's why I created this, because I was like, okay, so there is a gap where there's a lot of people that hit Premiere, but I am not seeing them move beyond Premiere. They're struggling to get to 4K, and it's as easy as I get Denise, I help you get to Premiere, and we teach you how to get somebody else to Premiere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier when we come together as a group like this to be able to teach these things to people. Because when you have, even if you only have 5 new affiliates on your team, that's a lot of one-on-one trying to keep them on track where they're at in their space. So anyways, that's how this came about. It's like, I wanted to find a way that I could lead my team with these things and not rely and wait for somebody else to create something. So if you guys want to host one, again, it's going to be super, really simple and general. Just let me know, and I'll, we're using Stacy's because I don't have a paid account. I was going to upgrade. Hers is paid. So we'll have a login, and that's that we can get in. Same link. I'll go in and set up the settings to where it's easy to do a breakout. And then I can even do a Loom on how to do a breakout. I'm going to write that down. Loom for breakout sessions. So that if anybody's hosting it, it's really easy. It's a couple clicks of a button once you set up the settings. But yeah, I'd be more than happy if anybody wants to do any of that. I found my chat. I don't know if I'm missing anything over there. Oh, you guys.
So just to clarify, these calls will be on Mondays, like immediately following our executive leadership call.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then following the corporate call.
Yes.
So are we not doing any Unity Makers calls right now?
I don't know, because I know that they had gone to once a month when I think Jen started the 4K boot camp.
Yeah.
But, and you guys can kind of decide how you want to do this. Like I said, it's kind of different for everybody. This says I'm going to run out of time. If it hangs up, let's jump back on.
Okay.
That's what happens when you don't want to pay for stuff that you don't use enough of. For me, this is going to move the needle forward versus a team training. at least
Okay.
for me and my team in this point of business, right? I want them in action and not information constipation, because I do feel like we have a lot of stuff. So it's like this I want as like an accountability. So I know that Courtney's wants to do this as well. So I can even reach out to her and find out, because hers were Mondays. The Unity Makers was, I think, every third Monday, right?
Yeah, but I don't know when our next one is or what, I don't know where we are in that anymore.
I'll
So,
talk with her. I'll
She
talk.
has decided not to do them currently.
okay. Okay.
Because today is the third Monday and we're not having one.
Okay.
So she's-
That's what I figured it was somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay, that works. Because I was going to say, even if she hasn't, because we haven't been doing them and she planned to, I'd see if she'd want to wait until we finish this, then they'll start up. And then that way people are not having to pick and
That's work.
choose and then having like FOMO, like what did I miss on the team call?
Right. Okay.
Well, and we've been joining Wednesdays calls with the Tracy's, if
Yes.
we remember. So like your team still has support and strategy and like what's coming next and updates and stuff. So it'll be corporate Monday and then team Wednesday, but they don't do it every Wednesday either, do they? The Tracy's?
No, the Mondays were the 4K boot camp, but that was at 5 p.m.
But she had
Wednesdays
team
were
call
like
too.
path to premiere or something.
Yeah, they have it every Wednesday. It's every Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
At
I
6.
don't usually attend the Wednesday calls just because Wednesdays are a really bad night for me. Where is that team call? Is it in the Make Goals Facebook page or is it a separate Zoom link or?
It's just
It's a Zoom link.
yeah.
Okay. And are they recorded?
Yes, they're recorded and they post them in the Path to Premiere Telegram chat.
See, I'm not good with Telegram. I'm
Me
not.
either.
I know she's
It's-
contemplating going to a Facebook group, but
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
just,
yet. there
there's
yet.
so many things for me to keep up with, and I'm just terrible about remembering to get into Telegram. It's totally my fault. Like, just but I'm
It's
not.
a lot.
It's a lot. We have so many different directions in that.
Mhm.
And so question, what came about, what I think we should probably do is I guess it would just be for Monday's call. If we wanted to make a little flyer that says prep work, like kind of give like a small outline of what we're going to talk about on the 24th. Like we're going to show you how to prime your chat GPT with the blueprint so that you're ready for, if somebody wants to help me create that, that'd be great. But I don't think we'll need that for the others because we're not providing any other real like trainings. We're going to be using the workbook and just going through that workbook. But I think we should make it kind of known, hey, make sure you're on Monday for prep so that we can get your chat GPT primed and you can see exactly how this is going to work. And then it's entirely up to you guys. But I kind of said they got to join by the 24th because if somebody comes in on week 3, I don't know how much they might be missing from week 1 or 2 because we won't be doing recaps. If you think that it's really up to you guys. If you think somebody can come in later and they'd be great, have them join us. But I'm probably just going to say, hey, start at week 1 because we're building off of one another. So
I would say let them join that December 1st, just because the 24th is the holiday week.
okay. So
I mean, that's just.
yeah, they'll just miss the prep work. So they'll just have to get caught up, which is fine. And so I'm going to figure out exactly how long this is going to go. I think it'll take us about 5 or 6 weeks. I haven't broken all the way out, but that's what I was doing, was looking at the time, like for the video, how much we can watch in a week. I don't want to do more than an hour of like video that we have to watch because I want it like 10 minutes a day. But just so that you guys know, so like the 24th, we're still going to meet because the holidays 3 days later. We shouldn't be shutting down our doors that early. Same with Christmas. Christmas is on a Thursday. We're still going to host on the 22nd because I don't
Agreed.
want to shut my doors. Right. So it's like our team's going to do what we do. And then same thing for New Year's. I mean, we can still meet on the 29th because New Year's, I mean, they still have 2 days if they're really planning for a rager or whatever they have going, So we're not going to break for any of the holidays because it's not, I mean, it's a few days before the holidays. So
How many, isn't there like 6 sections of this?
I think
Because
there was-
when he did it live, it was 6 weeks. There's
okay,
just
so
4.
there's 4 sections.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think these ones are going to get lengthier to where like week 2 might be module 2, these 3 videos.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next week is these 3 videos. And so I'm going to go through and look at exactly how long each of these are. Cause like this one, it's only 5 minutes, right? But some of them are like 20 minutes in here. So we'll go through and we'll kind of break it up to see. If you said his took 6 weeks, that's probably what it's going to take us.
I feel like it was 6 weeks. I mean, maybe it was 4 because it was like an hour long each time. So
yeah, so that's probably about where we'll keep it. So that's really just the flow. Are there any questions? I feel like if they enroll on that one page, it's going to give them the link to join the chat, and the chat's going to give them the board of everything that they need, Zoom link, all of that stuff.
Okay, so just to recap, we send out whatever the variation of what you sent to us for them to register for the group. Then we have our calls on Mondays, afternoon, evening. Same call, maybe different hosts, whatever. Okay. And then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday calls, it's all 3 or 1 or what
so
explain that to me again. My brain did not register that part.
The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday just means we have more opportunity for different variation for different days for people to join. So what I would suggest is when we're inviting, if I'm on a Monday and I'm not going to wait and try to invite them to Thursday, my invite's going to be like, are you free tomorrow at whatever, 6:30, whatever time it's at? And if they're like, no, I'm not free. Oh, well, great. We have a call Wednesday or Thursday, which is going to be best for you. I'm always going to start with the earliest one because, surely if they're not free on Tuesday, most people would at least have 1 free night out of 3 that they could jump on.
Right. Okay.
So that's kind of how I'm going to like word it, like join us Tuesday. And if they're not free, then Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
But I don't want
so
them waiting.
They don't attend all 3. They don't attend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. So it's Monday, Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So the Monday is like where we do our thing. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday is just more information. They get a little call out. They get whatever.
That's where they're inviting their prospects to.
Okay.
And so whether or not they can be on, I always tell them, if you can't be on, you still invite to it. But if you're available to be on, I always suggest, like, if you have a lead that's going to be joining on Tuesday, get on because they're going to want to see your face. Even if you're driving home from soccer and they see you, they're like, well, I could do that. She's driving home. Like, she's not hosting this one, but everybody else is. This is something I could do. And then that way they can look and try to see. I think they said they're averaging about 35 people on a call, which is great. When we join forces, we're going to be able to grow even more, and that's going to create more energy. But then they can go through and see, well, Joanna said she was going to be on Monday or on Tuesday. I see that she's on. That's going to help her to know how to follow up and, who actually joined.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What time are the calls? I missed that.
I got to figure that out. I can't remember. I joined one of them, so I'll reach out right now and find out the time and the Zoom.
Okay. And then our calls are going to be at what time on Monday? 2 of them, one after leadership. Is that right? Or
right after
1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Central.
Okay.
And
7:30 Central.
Okay.
Well,
so that's 12 noon or 6:30. So for Mountain Time, it's 12 noon or 2 Eastern. And then the evening is 6:30 Mountain, 8:30 Eastern.
Right, because corporate's at 7.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
7 Central. Oh, yeah. So
that's going to be.
It's going to be right after corporate.
Are they usually done right at 7:30? I mean, I know some weeks they are, but some weeks, I guess if it's a mastermind, they're not done. So we'll have to keep that in mind.
That is true. So we'll have to kind of see how we want to do that. The mastermind is the first Monday of the month.
They've still been keeping that a lot shorter.
They did the last 2, but when they have a guest speaker, it usually goes on over an hour sometimes.
So in my personal opinion, again, is what's going to move the needle forward in their business. This would, I'll be like, hey, let's jump